Okay, I'm here to talk about Thomas Avery's claim on how Americans are over-dependent on their cell phones and it's harmful for society. And his first subclaim was that cell phones in in daily lives of Americans are constantly distracting. His second claim is that Americans' use of cell phones put them in physical danger. And his third claim is that American teen use of cell phone depletes their ability to have a functional social life. And on his first subclaim, that they're constantly a distraction, his evidence was that that 82% of Americans have cell phones, and I mean, he says it's a distraction. Well, there's other distractions out there, and such as TV, billboards, and cell phones are just a thing of the present, and everyone really needs one. And his second claim is that cell phones put them in people in physical danger. His evidence was that 37% of Americans have admitted texting while driving, and well, that refutes. That's just a bad claim because 73% don't text while, or have admitted that, or have not admitted they texted while driving, and that majority is more important than the minority. And his second piece of evidence on that claim was at any given moment, 10% of drivers 16 through 24 are using their cell phone behind the wheel. That means that 90% are not using their cell phone, and that's good enough to make me feel safe driving. And that study leaves out from the people that are actually older than 24, which do not use their cell phone while driving. And any physical danger that would actually happen is just a period of anything over time. Like if you have to use it in moderation, like a cell phone, you can't be used like all the time. Like alcohol or cigarettes, you can't use them all. Like you just have to use them in moderation. That's just a personal thing. And physical aspects are very minimal compared to the beneficiaries, such as like calling someone and like when you're in trouble, like 911, say there's an emergency, and you can almost call anyone, anywhere that you need to talk to if you're in the right zone. And his third claim was that Americans' teen use of cell phone depletes their ability to have functional social life. And his first piece of evidence was that 57% of teens say they use that cell phones are the key to their social life. And that is true because it is the best way to get in contact with people across the country, and it's not a harmful thing. It's just something that we as teenagers currently have in our lives, and teenagers have always been attracted to technology, no matter what form, and so have other Americans. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, well, the structural things are fine, so it's easy to follow. The first point talks about the percentage of cell phone people that use their cell phones, and you're trying to diminish that there are distractions by pointing to other sorts of things that could be distractions. That's okay, but again, there should be some quantification, some explanation about how important some distractions are. Maybe there's a context in which the distractions matter. It sounds like there's a lot of stuff about driving on the second point, but I don't know what the distractions are on the first point and how they would compare. You can think of lots of things that might be distractions. Would they be potentially dangerous, or are they harmful in some way? Facebook, for instance, to studying, or television in terms of relational development, something along those lines. I think you need some information on this. You just kind of state the obvious. Well, there are other distractions too. On the second point, most of your argument consists of taking the statistic and saying, well, that means that 90% aren't doing this. Well, I don't know that I feel safer knowing that 90% aren't doing it. I'm glad that the 90% aren't doing it, but if there are, there's a 10% chance that I'm going to die, by some idiot texting every time I go out, I'm not exactly sure I feel safe. Just because 90% of the people aren't using it doesn't necessarily mean that there is no particular threat here. I think you're kind of equivocating that this means that it's automatically safe, and that's not really the case. There are, like you said, mitigating things that could go on. People should learn to use these in moderation. You might also point out that there are laws that are supposed to restrict this, that the teaching techniques are just trying to discourage people from doing this, that people are becoming more aware of those potential dangers, and so cell phones are a fairly recent innovation in the last 20 years, and we learn through experimentation, and we're settling into a pattern where it's likely to decline. I think you could probably find some information that supports those sorts of things. On the social life issue, you basically concede the idea that cell phones are used for the social life, but I think the advocate's argument was that they were substituted for something in a person's social life. And what you ought to do is point out that the fact that people use cell phones doesn't necessarily mean that they don't go out, they don't meet people, they don't interact with them on a personal level. In fact, it might increase their ability to interact with other folks, and that seems like it would be easy to demonstrate. Do people date less than they once did? Are restaurants closed because people, groups of friends are not going out together the way they once did? Is everybody, hanging out, but they're only hanging out on Google, that kind of thing, or I think the advocate needed to have some arguments on this, and you don't even talk about what the advocate's evidence is on those points, and I think you could develop some easy responses there. All right.